Welcome back to Project Management Office. This video now is going to talk about how we have worked in lockdown. A number of you have come back with comments and ideas and far more information I think needs to be shared amongst us all about our experiences during the lockdown in England, Scotland and Wales and Northern Ireland, and how it's affected our global working across projects across Europe, across the States and the wider world. Now, we'll work in virtual teams, so I'm going to be talking in this series of videos on lockdown where I will talk you through how virtual teams work. Then I'll take you through how we've operated in lockdown and survived the various challenges that have come before us. And then thirdly, I'm going to take you through how we bring together the virtual teams concept to the social challenges and the practical challenges of lockdown and how those are meshed together all in one. Now, I don't know at this moment in time whether that's going to take me 2 videos, 3 videos or 5 videos. But what I'm trying to do is give you a snapshot of each of those aspects and keep it to about 10 minutes because I don't want them to be too long for you either. So let's start then initially with what were the challenges that we all faced. And I hope what I'm sharing with you now are things that you've come across as well, either as project managers or as program managers or as being part of a project team. So back in March of 2020, that's when the government in the United Kingdom announced that there will be a lockdown in place. I think you'll agree that at that time when that was being announced, yes, there was lots of trepidation about what might happen during the course of lockdown. But on the whole, I think we were fairly light in our views about it. A, because we didn't quite know what it meant for us. But secondly, because it gave us some immediate advantages that we thought were quite fun and actually alleviated some of the pressures on us. So for example, just working from home alone is something that we have always grappled with, I think, over the last 10 years. Within the IT industry, with technology the way it's developing, working from home has become easier, more effective, and many of us would contend it has actually been very efficient. So this was an opportunity to prove that it's actually efficient to do so. But there's always been the traditional trend, which is, no, I need you to be sitting in the office to convince me that you're actually doing a day's work. So those were our key challenges. We were now thrust into an environment where it was going to be tested. And that test was very, very apparent. At the time that lockdown happened, for me, was when I was running a transformational project that was across a number of geographic areas. We were working in the United Kingdom, in Northern Ireland, we were working in the Republic of Ireland, in Poland, and also in parts of India. So as you can see, we had a virtual team environment already in place. But what lockdown did was, it meant that any kind of interaction that could take place was no longer going to take place physically again during that duration. So what we did was we carried out, and this is my first tip on what we did in lockdown, and that was we carried out a risk assessment. And that risk assessment was, what will lockdown do to our current project processes, our communication strategy, our strategy for sharing information, our strategy for implementing tasks and reporting on those tasks, how we arranged our meetings, and how we were able to work and interact with each other. From a virtual perspective, we were not much different because with Poland, everything was done via video calling, and as was the case with the Indian team. The effectiveness of Republic of Ireland was that we used to make regular visits out to the Republic, but that had to now stop. So that was then brought into video calls as well. So that's where a key difference took place. And the risk assessment was that would the communications need to be strengthened in order to mitigate the risk of missing information that we normally attributed to working together, being physically in the same place. So the UK team, for example, had the biggest risk in this area because we were used to working together in the same office, walking over to each other's desks, sitting down, talking concepts through, and coming up with a clear understanding, and then moving forward with actions. The difference now was we had to write all of that down. We then started to create central documents which housed all that information, which brought us to a place where everything was clearly defined, and agreements that we would normally do verbally were actually documented and signed off so that we were clear what we were doing moving forward. Now, that may sound a bit of overkill, but in the end, it helped us. It helped us because things that you normally understand better when you're face to face and talking to someone